Sir, give me the host. I'm unable to share the screen. Sir, admin, are you there? Student, please mute yourself. See, someone is sharing screen. Please stop sharing. See, I want to share the notes.
Right. இப்ப நான் 5:30 நான் வந்து செக் பண்றேன் பாரு. டைம் மென்ஷன் பண்ணுங்க இப்போ. நீங்க எப்பத்துல எழுதுறீங்களோ அதை மென்ஷன் பண்ணுங்க. வீட்டுக்கு வந்த பிற்பாடு என்னென்ன எழுதுறீங்கன்னு இப்ப நான் பார்க்கணும். பாத்துக்கோ.
Okay, student, myself Anil. I'm political science lecturer here. We are going to discuss in Western political thought. So in Western political thought, our topic is John Stuart Mill. J.S. Mill is well known as the J.S. Mill. So we'll go to in the topics. So as of our syllabus, we are discussing about his major ideas. There are three major ideas in our syllabus. One is about liberty. Second one is about the representative government. And third one is the utilitarianism. So these three famous books is the ideas reflects about okay, these three are the major ideas in our syllabus. So before going to in these ideas, we will look at is what is major works in Western political thought. See, there are around 9 major books are there, which is work by the J.S. Mill. So one is the system of logic, and second one is the essay and some unsettled questions in political economy, and third one is on liberty. So fourth one is consolidation representative government. Fifth one utilitarianism. Sixth one thoughts on parliamentary reform. And seventh one is the subjection of women. Eighth one is principle of political economy. Ninth one, women's suffrage. So these 9 are major works of the J.S. Mill. Okay, now it's what's his views on liberals? So in a political thought or political theory, liberty is a very prominent or important idea. So we'll look at what the J.S. Mill ideas views on his liberty. So he wrote a book on liberty, 1859. So in detail, his ideas represented in this book. So as of him, individual person is over his own body and mind. Man is alone is sovereign. So this statement is tells us there is no sovereign authority on individual. So he is the sovereign authority himself. So he is the against of the tyranny of majority, idea of concept. And individuals needs to protect the against of tyranny of magistrate and even the tyranny of this society. And also against the society imposing its views on any individual against his will. So as a film, so without the permission of the individual, the society is trying to interpret some society's ideas and concepts on individual. So he is quite opposite of that idea. So he is giving the importance to the individual. So he argues that the type of the imposition does not permit the individual to achieve the development. See, because he believes that if society is trying to impose some such a kind of ideas and other things on individuals, he may able not to develop. So as of J.S. Mill, if individual want to develop, the society don't want to interrupt him. So he believes in the laissez-faire system, fair idea. So one of the powerful argument in favor of individual is liberty. He argues that individual should not be subjected to legal coercion by means of laws, moral coercion, by means of public opinion, etc. So according to him, there are three identified major areas which liberty of individual must be protected. See, as a film, freedom of thought and expression, and second one, freedom of action, and third one is freedom of association. So these three concepts are major important for J.S. Mill. So these three will be lead to the develop individual. So here we are concluding with the liberty of his thought. So next his thought is representative government. So what is his views on the representative government? So we'll discuss here. So is the majorly support of the democracy, and as we discussed earlier in the liberty against the tyranny of majority concept. So cause is why is against the tyranny of majority. So he's basically from England. So those times British government failed to address the minority rights. So that's why he believes that the tyranny of majority will be not possible to the develop of the minority groups. So in his representative government is majorly focused on some reforms of the democracy. So one of the most recommendation is the propositional representation form of the government. So what is the propositional represent government is? So yeah, as for this concept, since in the parliament should be based on the number of votes polled by the each party. See, now in our democracy we are sending our representatives to parliament or assembly. So irrespective of which votes are they gain, but who we are sending them, who won, who win the elections. So irrespective of how much percentage they gain the votes. So why is focused on this as we discussed? Those times the Britain government neglect the representatives of the minority groups. So in this reforms, we also give importance right to vote for women, and give importance the intellectual qualification. So to understand proportional representation government, we'll see some examples, which is the recently held elections in our India. So recently, the Gujarat Assembly election has done very successful, as well as and Himachal Pradesh also. So in Gujarat, with the 52 percentage of vote, the BJP government got the 156 seats, and the Indian National Congress with the percentage of 27 percentage votes, it's win the 17 seats, and Aam Aadmi Party 12 percentage and 5 seats, and others are 9 percentage and 4 seats. So total there are 182 seats. So this is the we are following the our regular democracy, but this concept is entirely different for example, J as of mill. If you are taking consider the JS Mill Tata proportional ideas, so among them 180 seats, only 52 representatives will go to the parliament or assembly. So only 27% people will go to the people means our representatives represent in our
Sir,
parliament.
which chapter, sir? A chapter ande? Chapter, sir.
Sorry, JS Mill.
Sir, explain clear, sir.
Sorry. Sorry, students, your voice is not clear.
Explain clear, sir.
Sir, what is chapter number, sir? Which chapter it is?
Unit 9, JS Mill.
JS Mill Unit 9.
Okay.
See, we are seeing these examples further to understand the proportional representation. See, this is the we are following in our democracy. For as per JS Mill, so there are total 180 seats. So if you are taking into consideration JS Mill concept, so there within 182, so there only 52 percentage people have to go to the parliament or assembly. So JS Mill is telling us that the representative should be represented in parliament or assembly. So which votes they are getting, ratio of the votes. See, next picture will see in Himachal Pradesh elections. So INC gained the 43.9 point votes and BJP got 43 votes. So up 1.0, others 12%. So, but their own seat is the very quite difference. So it's not familiar with the vote percentage. So if you are taking some examples of the JS Mill idea of the proportional government, so among these 68% people, so 43 per INC, 43 for 68. So this is the idea of the JS Mill. So this is quite different for what we are practicing nowadays in our India. When reforms in the democracy, so he is giving importance to the intellectuals. So he argues that intellectual will be have more roles. So intellectual means who has ability to read, study, and write. I mean, basically, educationally well-developed persons. Another idea is that so now we are paying some salaries to our representatives. Where JSML is opposing the payment for the represent. So he supported the open ballot system. So as per him, so more legislative power is giving the House of Commons. So and local governments must be expanded to enable more people participation in the democracy. So its conclusion about Mill's writing was the great importance to the realization need for the placing the utmost value on the individual judgment and actions. So his essay on liberty is perhaps the most eloquent expression of the noble liberalism, so which was championed by the 19th century thinkers. So this is about the JS Mill. So if you have any doubts on JS Mill, you may ask. So is it clear about JS Mill? So may I continue with other thinker?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So next thinker is the Thomas Hobbes. So as we know in our political science, the state is the central role of our political science. So it's as a political science students, it's our important to know about the how state is existed or created. So about state, there are some theories. So how state has been created. So there are divine origin theories and also social contract and historical evolution theories also there. So Thomas Hobbes discussed about the social contract theory. So we'll discuss here what's ideas on the origin of the state. So about origin of the state is discussed in this book Leviathan, which is written in the 1615 one. So in the process of the origin of the state to explain this theory, so he explained the state of nature. So as a film, in the state of nature, man was egoistic and moved by the fear. So powerful glory of political equality. So basically man was the nasty, brutish and short in the state of nature. In the state of nature, there is no civil law. So law was regulate of human action. Law was nature coincide difference by Hobbes, means different things on different occasions. So it was dictator of right, reason of preservation of life. So it based upon the prudence, which is dictated that everybody should try to secure peace by sacrificing the natural rights by covenant. It must be respected. So as a film, man was in the, we discussed about state of nature. There is, it's not a good life. So it's man is brutish, nasty, short temper. So to overcome these situations, people are gathered. So and make a agreement or contract among the people to overcome this worst situation of which in the state of nature. So in this agreement, so they are decided to, they give up their entire rights to the one king or ruler, so who's protect them and give them good life. So by this agreement, the people of the state, they are given their entire rights to the king. So here there is no rights to the people. If there is king done anything wrong, there is no right to ask the king, because these people are surrounded their entire rights to the king. So here the king is absolute monarch. So what will king do? It is the good for the people only. The people will think. So there is no right to the people to question or ask the king. The next thinker is our John Locke. John Locke. So as of John Locke, so state also are created by the agreement. So as of him, there are two agreements. One is between the people, among the people only. So by this agreement, they have created the civil society. So one is among the civil society and the king. So by this second agreement, they have created the state and they have given some rights to the king. Then So we'll continue with the Locke. He was the contemporary of Hobbes. So he wanted to challenge the Hobbes theory of absolute state. So, however, Hobbes was work was become more controversial and prohibited by the church, and he targeted the theory of absolute sovereignty given by the Filmer. So Filmer was the critic of social contract theory. He criticized the theory of social contract in two grounds. The one is it is not a logical theory of the authority of the state. Contract means will of the man. It means authority of the state based on the will of the man. So it is the illogical to accept the future generation, to accept the contract entered by the brothers. So the second one is with respect to right to property, hereditary rather than the contract is more logical, basic of right to property. According to Filmer, state is a patriarcha, which means is a big family god. So Adam was the first king, Adam was the son of God, all successive kings are heirs of the Adam. Since Adam has absolute authority, kings also have absolute authority. So this is the two criticisms which is by the Robert Filmer. So, and Locke's theory of natural rights. Natural rights are given to the man by the God or nature, and hence state cannot be deprived a person from these rights against their wish. Every fundamental right is natural right. The theory of natural rights is also the basis of human right. Locke is the scholar of capitalist class. He has given justification for absolute right to property. Hence, he is also the scholar of possessive individualism. Locke has given the theory. One is separation of power, and second is the principle of toleration. Third is the majoritarian democracy. Locke also belongs to the tradition of social contract. Locke also belongs to the England. He also witnessed the glorious revolutions, 1688. Since he was witnessed the peaceful change, he develops a more balanced view of human nature. So he was a contemporary of Hobbes, and he said he wanted to challenge the Hobbes theory of absolute state. However, Hobbes' work become a controversial, prohibited by the church, and he triggered the theory of absolute state given the Filmer in the Patriarchal book. We rejected the theory of the state is created by the God, even if we believe Adam's first king, but such as event happened in every remote period of history at present. There are so many kings. How to identify who is genuine, the heir of the Adam? So hence he suggested to look for the new basis of human authority of the state rather than the basis of the Adam's theory. So God is created the state. So Locke also rejected the theory of the absolute authority of the state. He argued that authority of state cannot be absolute. Absolute state is not the family, rather family of families. Authority of king cannot be a pair with the authority of patriarch or father. So father's authority is absolute in family because children are completely depends on the father. So citizens are adults. They are dependent on the state only for few matters. Hence, authority of the state cannot be absolute. Locke gives the labor theory of property. Property belongs to that person who has put his labor. So Locke's views are very similar that the views of Aristotle. In the words of Aristotle, the authority of matters differs from the authority of statesmen. So Locke's views on human nature. So every thinker is a child of time. We can see the impact of his times on his description of human nature. If Hobbes has seen trouble phase of British history and gives the pessimistic view, Locke has seen the stable period and so gives balanced view. Locke is not logically consistent like Hobbes. Locke's theories are more based on common sense, just like Plato's logical consistency, but Aristotle's theory is based on the common sense. So characteristics of the human nature. He takes the view of enlightened self-interest. According to him, man is the self-centered, but it does not mean that man is not capable of taking care of the interest of the others. In man, reasons and passions are present in balanced form. In the words of Locke, reason in many guides him not to harm the others in his life, liberty, health, property. Thus, man rational enough to understand that if he respect the life, liberty, or property of other person, the person will also respect his rights. So state of nature, it is the hypothetically concept, unlike Hobbes, where the state of nature is the state of war because man does not have sufficient reason. The state of nature is Locke is the state of where peace, mutual assistance, and goodwill prevail. In the state of nature, people are enjoying the natural rights. So they are able to do so because of the presence of the reason. So when the state of nature, state of peace, goodwill, and people are enjoying rights, so what is the need of the contract? Though peace and goodwill is the prevailing, yet it is not rational to leave things on the goodwill of the man. If man has reason, man also has the passion. Hence, man requires the insurance against such a scenario, since man can lead a good life even without a state. Hence, there is no need for giving absolute powers to the state. Locke also mentions certain inconvenience in the state of nature. What was the inconvenience? Absence of common authority to make law, execute law, and adjudicate law. In the state of nature, common authority was absent, and everyone was interpreting the natural law according to his own preference. We cannot expect a person who kills his brother to proclaim himself as guilty. So common sense also suggested one cannot be lawyer or judge at the same time. Hence, to remove this inconvenience and to will ensure that peace and goodwill continues to prevail. So man enters into the contract. What is the purpose of the contract? The main purpose of the setting of common authority, the common authority is government. Locke's contract in Locke, there are two contracts, whereas Hobbes, there is only single contract. The first contract is civil society. So outcome of the first contract is the civil society. So institutions excluding the family and government are called as civil society. Civil society independent of the government or free form of government is a feature of liberal democratic societies. According to Locke, civil society was formed in the first contract. In the state of nature, man was enjoying rights, but there was no moral recognition or guarantee. Hence, in the first contract, people have guaranteed each other's right by giving the formal recognition. The second contract leads to the formation of government. People have transformed their rights to the government. So one is right to make law. The second one is right to execute law. Third one is right to adjudicate law. Hence emerged the common authority with the three organs of legislature, executive, and judiciary. Man has not transferred his right to life, liberty, and property. So it is the irrational to assume that any person can live life without these rights. they are very fundamental to this fundamental existence of man. These are inalienable rights. Locke gives the concept of government by consent, means elections of the person who are going to run the government. Those who will get majority will form the government. Thus, Locke support majority model of democracy, concept of representative free will of man. So, since the government is not necessity, it is a just matter of convenience, unlike Hobbes, who gives absolute powers. Locke gives only limited rights. Power of government is limited by fundamental rights. Right to life, right to liberty, right to property. So it means government cannot take away these rights, which means it cannot make any such a law which deprived person. So we cannot expect any reasonable persons ever willing to transfer their right to life, liberty, and property. It also means that government has no original powers, only delegated powers. Delegated powers means it cannot act on its own will. It has to act according to the will of the people. It means government is the trust and pleasure or trustees. Government has to act according to the wishes of trustees. So Locke was the first person to give the theory of natural rights. According to Locke, nature is the source of right. In the state of nature, man was able to enjoy natural rights because man has reason, and reason guides not to harm the life, liberty, property of the others. Reason denotes natural right, natural law. In the state of nature, man was able to enjoy natural rights because of the presence of natural law or reason. It implies that ultimate guarantee for the protection of the rights is reason is man. Initially, property was held in the common. It is a common sense that property can never remain in the common. Those who were industries, enterprise become the owners. Those who are lazy So limitation on the right to property. Locke has given three limitations. Labor limitations, it means only that property is justified, which is the product of labor. Right to property belongs to all. No one can deprive the other from his right to property. So no right to spoil the property. These three are the limitation for the natural rights. So for individuals, self prior to all, origin of individualism debates Marx and Sophism, individual emerged as the prominent philosophy in modern times. Locke is also individualist in both methodological sense as well as normative sense. He also builds his social contract on the individualistic nature of man. However, individual in Locke is more enlightened than individual in Locke. Since individual is the more enlightened, Locke created the limited state. Locke is normative individualist. He gives the theory of natural rights of man. He suggested the consent as the basis of authority. Government has no original powers. People have right to revolt. He gives absolute right over property, and he is also called the scholar of possessive individualism. Thus, Locke is also individualist. Hobbes is known as the great of all individualists, whereas Locke is called as the individualist, out and out. So Locke is called as the individualist out and out because unlike Hobbes, who does justify absolutism of state. So Locke nowhere talks about the absolutism of the state. So example, if it is said that Hobbes began as an individualist but ends with as an absolute. So but Locke remains as the individual throughout. So this is the about the Locke. So this is the today class. So I'm ending with the log. Yeah. So students, class is over with the lab.